Hello. All right, we switched computers, so I think we figured it out. Let me just double check on this laptop that we figured it out.
This one? Oh, here. Now viewers are.
Okay, I'm just gonna log in on my computer down here to make sure everything is all good. I'm sorry we had to change it, guys. This has never happened to us before, but we definitely want to start answering your questions.
Is this the same chat as before?
No, this is a new chat.
So how will they know?
I don't know. I'm gonna post it everywhere.
Can we go to that other one and tell them to move over to this one?
Yes, it's a good idea.
How do we tell them?
Post it in the comments. Oh, cool! This computer stopped working. It's not live anymore, so just we need to copy and paste the link. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are great and patient.
Oh, Lily. Thanks, Lily.
It's a different link. Okay, good stuff. All right. Live chat was gonna send me too. Comments are disabled for this video. Oops. There's our real one. Oh, yes. There's our real one. Right, but I need to pull it up on here so that I can. Oh.
I'm going to turn that off.
Yeah, all right, close the one so it doesn't make the noise. I think I need to restart my computer. I'm sorry, guys. If you send us a question on Tumblr, we can start answering some Tumblr questions that we've gotten in. If I can find them. Lee has everything open on her computer.
If anybody is watching this new
How come
link,
that? Oh,
can you let the people in the group me chat and the Facebook or whoever was watching before, can you try to circulate that new link?
where's so we got a question about how competitive are a cappella groups and theater productions. So it's a great question. I have a lot of friends who are in a cappella groups. My best friend Quincy is in Groove. Well, Groove is a little different though because we have 6 a cappella groups. It's restarting. We have 6 a cappella groups. We have Groove, The Vibes, The Notables, Smithereens, Smith and Poofs, and Crapapella. As I like to say, those of us who can sing but choose to do so anyway. They're actually rather entertaining. And the Groove, you have to be affiliated with a music department group to join. So like choir or glee club,
Wailing Banshees,
orchestra, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But all in all, like not super competitive. Like most people have their pick of groups
for a cappella.
Yeah.
If you get it, I feel like I know a lot of people who haven't gotten in though. I think it is sometimes can be competitive depending on the year.
All my friends are talented singers, so I don't know. Oh, hello. You shut down your computer because of a problem. Yes, I did.
But I think it really varies
about
depending on the group.
Okay.
Because for theater, you can do like a theater department sponsored play, or you can do the Leading Ladies Club, and I think anybody's invited to do the Leading Ladies.
Yes. And it's cool because I don't think for a cappella, but at least for theater, you can audition for 5 College. All my Word documents are opening. All my interviews and thesis proposals. Yay. You can audition for 5 college performances, so you're not limited to just what's at Smith. So if you really want to do something that's going on at Amherst or UMass or Hampshire at Holyoke, you're totally welcome to do that, and vice versa. So they can come and ask here. So about the theater, do Smithies ever go to any of the other 5 colleges? Hey, I just answered that. How convenient about it. Oh, yeah. Skype is opening. We're great. I want to go to some questions we got from the Tumblr once I have them open here. So somebody just asked us, hi, I was just wondering if accessing Boston from Smith is easy. I am a huge concert goer and was also wondering if it is common for Smith students to go to Boston for concerts as well. If they do, how do they get there and back? Thanks. Lee, do you want to answer that?
Sure.
I'm gonna just like post the new link on our Tumblr.
Okay, cool. So I would say for getting to Boston, it is very accessible because we have a bus station called the Peter Pan bus station that's about a 5 to 10 minute walk from Smith College campus. And if you just look it up right now, it's called Peter Pan Bus Line, and tickets are round trip last year it was $50 to go to Boston from Northampton, but this year I think it kind of has gone up a little bit, but also depending on how close to the time of the day you want to go, the price might vary too. But I just learned about something else besides Peter Pan. It's called Van Go, and that is a straight shot from Smith College to Alewife Station in Boston for $25 each way, and that's really nice. It's run by a Mount Holyoke grad, so that's a really easy way of getting to Smith. You can look that up too. And I would say I was really excited when I came to Smith because in Hawaii, like, nobody comes to concerts at all. So when I realized that Smith College was accessible, or Boston was accessible, and New York was accessible, I realized that I could go to so many concerts. I went to an Ingrid Michaelson concert, which was the best thing ever.
It's cool though because there's a lot of really cool concerts right in Northampton.
Yeah.
That last weekend I saw the Rebel Light, Julian Nunes, and the Mowgli's all in one concert. It was great. I was at Pearl Street Nightclub. Lee was supposed to come, but then she didn't.
I had house counsel.
She had house counsel.
But I think that if there are concerts in Boston that you want to go see, it's totally accessible and easy to go.
One of our friends went to the Rihanna concert not long ago in Boston, so it's totally doable, I would say. So another question, if there's one thing you could change about Smith, what would you change?
I know the answer for me. I was just thinking about this today. I understand why they do this, but I wish there were not as strict requirements for language for study abroad, because some colleges, they just have it where you don't need to know the language and you can just go abroad and learn it there. But at Smith, they want you to have 2 years of the language before you go abroad. I think sometimes it's 1 year or like 3 semesters. It depends. But I'm feeling really limited right now because I did French for 1 semester and I did it for several years beforehand. So I could go to somewhere that speaks French. But I really want to learn Spanish, but I never took Spanish at Smith. So I can't go anywhere to learn Spanish abroad. So I wish that they weren't as strict, but I understand why, because I want Smithies to be like the leaders in the classroom and really smart.
Yeah, I mean, and I just went abroad, and when I visited my friends in Paris and Geneva, I think they really benefited from having such a strong grasp of the language, especially in those programs. Their classes were in French and basically mainly French. So I think you have a big benefit. If I had shown up in Denmark and all my classes were in Danish, I would have cried.
What do you not like about Smith?
What do I not like about Smith?
What was the question? Something about like if you could change one thing.
Oh, if I could change one thing, I would make the cups in the dining halls bigger. And I actually thought of a really good answer to this the other day while I was on a tour. I think now I can't remember. But if you were at Open Campus and I told you a good answer, can you pop it in the chat? Hi, Sadie. Sadie says, I've heard some mixed things about the PVTA, which stands for Pioneer Valley Transit Authority. It is the bus system that goes around the 5 colleges and to the surrounding areas in the Pioneer Valley. And she says she's heard some mixed things. How easy is using the bus system? Also, I've heard that the buses between the colleges are free, but the regular PVTA, you pay fare. Is that true? Yes. So if you're going to on a route that goes to another college, it is free. But if so it's nice. I was going to the city of Amherst to do a thesis interview the other day, so I didn't have to pay for that. But I had to go to East Hampton for a thesis interview the other day, and I would have had, because there's no 5 college in East Hampton, I would have had to pay the $1.50 one way. So I rode my bike instead. And I was very sweaty when I got there.
Wow, Nicole asked a deep question.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just posting this on all our social media so people can find us. But there's a lot of people watching right now.
How
you guys
would you say
are great.
Smith changed you as a person since you've been there?
In so many ways. It would be, that's a big question. And I think it's hard because, like, no matter what, I would have liked to think I would change from the time I was 18 to the time I'm 21. And I'm going to be like close to 23 when I graduate. So I think no matter what you're going to change in college, and if you don't, maybe you're not being pushed enough. I think Smith pushes me a great amount. And I think also something that really contributes to that is the number of people you meet at Smith and the amazing diversity of students and faculty who push you and like have ideas that you never even conceived of. And something I sort of worried about going to a liberal arts college was that it would be very like hegemonic, which means like everybody would have the same idea. Like how can we have discussions if everybody's a Democrat or agrees? And I think about this in my seminar all the time where it's 8 people and everybody just is coming at the subjects from very different positionality and has a lot to bring to it to complicate our discussion. So it's interesting to kind of start with the same foundation and then go from there. How has Smith changed you as a person?
Me? Well,
yes, you.
I think when I go home after being at Smith now for almost 2 years, when I leave the Smith campus, I just look at everyday interactions so differently. I feel like I just have a new pair of glasses on for the glasses that help me see things differently, for the better. Like I notice just little subtle sexist remarks that someone makes, and sometimes I call them out on it because I've learned that confidence here. Yeah,
Smith gives you the tools to like acknowledge the issues in the world, but also combat them in like a realistic way, in a way you can do on an everyday level as well as on an organizational activist level.
Okay, also another thing is, I really, since coming to Smith, this is going to sound cheesy, but I really just feel like I can do anything that I set my mind to. I really feel like
and I think that's really encouraged, that there's nothing like, if I'm like, I want to write a thesis about funerals and I'm going to interview 40 people and go to these conferences and conventions, Smith is like, great, and also here's some money to help you do it. You have to like apply for it. And also like the other opportunities, I just got told like on the sort of down low that I'm getting the Leanna Brown Fellowship, which is through the Gov department, that's going to help me. Like it's for a fund, not limited to Gov majors, for people who are doing work with women in politics. So I'm going to use it for my internship this summer, and that's like another $1,000 that I have to be like freer in my exploration and like work on projects. So it's really cool to have that support. All right, want to do more questions. Elena, hi Elena. Elena was one of our pals from Open Campus. Elena asks, how do I major in everything? Real question. Do most people take intro courses? I want to take science, but I haven't taken any AP or honors science courses, and I feel behind.
I think that most people, even if you do have AP credit from science, they start with everyone else.
Yeah, that's so true.
You are not behind, Elena. You'll be right in the boat with all the other first years here, and I really encourage you to take science classes and try new things out.
It's cool just to take lots of intro classes and because they're really good survey courses, and so you get to know the department, you'll get to know the faculty. Depending on what science, you'll get to see a lot of different areas, and also think about it in a really different environment. So it's nice to study STEM in a women's college environment, I think.
And Karen asked, are freshmen, we call them first years here actually, able to do biology research without stride?
One of my really good friends, Eliza, who lives on the other side of the wall from me, we were suite mates for first years. I don't think she had stride. I feel like after knowing each other for 3 years, she would have told me that. But she does bio research. She did SURF, which is Smith Undergraduate Research Fellowship or Research Fund, and that's during the summer. And she does the very exciting work of leaf litter and mushrooms. And I wanted her to call her project Putting the Fun in Fungi, but that's not how they roll in the bio department. And then she was able to do a lot while she was studying abroad in Australia. So definitely bio research and all research is really accessible, even if you don't have stride, which is a particular research scholarship that we offer some of our accepted students. Simona says, Elena, you're a pal. She is a pal.
What kind of research opportunities are there for humanities?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, it's totally an option. Sadie asks, what kind of research is there in the humanities? Is that an option?
I think that it's a little bit harder to get involved with research professors than it is in, say, science, but it's still an option. When I ask my sociology professors, what they usually say is it's more encouraged to do your own research. So doing a special studies project where you design your own research project or a thesis, they really support you and help you do your own research.
Yeah. I came to college and I didn't know that research outside of STEM was a thing. But I've been doing research since my sophomore year at Smith, and now I'm developing it into a thesis. But that's more in like social sciences, so I think it's even then is more straightforward. But I was hold on, I bet I have the collaborations program on my desk.
Sometimes professors look for research assistants. So my medical anthropology professor asked the whole class if they were interested in applying to be his research assistant for his new book about medical anthro.
Professor Geralman?
Yep.
So this is last Saturday we had, which really would have been cool for you guys to see at Open Campus. This is all like people presenting their research. So let's see. So there's project in biological sciences, global financial institutions, government. Somebody just asked about American studies. Here's some
Do you want to explain what collaborations is?
It's a presentation of research.
So
oh my gosh,
collaborations
is
when a ton of students do this, do all the like research projects they've been doing all year with faculty. They put it all together in a celebration at the end of the year called collaborations.
These are two of my really good friends. This is Katie and Sarah. They live in my house. Katie walked into my room during orientation. We were all like taking tours of each other's room, and Katie walked into my room and saw Backlash by Susan Faludi on my bookshelf and my National Women's Party flag on my wall and said, "Can we be friends?" And I said yes.
It's a very direct method, but like you gotta do what you gotta do.
And then Sarah transferred here during her sophomore
Mama
year.
says that she met you on Open Campus. Say hi.
Oh, cool.
Simona.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, because if you guys came to Baldwin House Tea, that's where.
Yeah.
So Sarah was in Geneva last semester, and Katie was in Washington D.C. last semester doing the PICR program. Quincy says hi.
Hi, Quincy.
We're gonna keep answering.
All right, we have questions.
An hour ago, you were gonna go to bed.
We have questions to answer if you guys want to help.
I presented at collaborations.
What do you
the
want
research that I did in DC in the PICR program, which was really fun.
I'm gonna ask a government question. I think.
I'm here for all good questions.
Wait, somebody asked an American Studies question.
I took the Intro to American Studies class. Taking a class right now with American
Oh,
Studies.
Iris. Hi again. How's the government department for you? I sat in on a class in November and during Open Campus, but there was nobody repping government during the times we could talk during lunch and dinner. What do you think of the government department, Katie?
I really enjoy the government department. It's one of the bigger ones here at Smith. We have really great faculty. One of the things they require you to do is take a class and there's different concentrations you can choose. There's American government, political theory, international relations, and comparative government. And you have to take one class in each of those, which I never would have done had they not required me to. And I loved it. I thought I was going to hate political theory, but I took a class in it, and that's one of my favorite classes I've taken.
Do you like the professors?
I love the professors. They're my advisor. I had actually never met before I asked him to be my advisor, Gary Laring. But he's been really supportive and really fun. The advisor that does the PICR program, which is where I was, the thing I did in DC. I'm taking more classes with him now. He's fantastic.
Our friend Durbin.
That is friend
He's
Durbin.
good. I had him too.
He's good. There's a lot of government professors, and they're really great.
Michaela asks, "Hi, I'm low-key interested in sports, but I don't think I'm good enough to be on a serious team, so I'm just curious about club sports question mark. What do they like?" That's a great question. So we have 3 different levels of sports here at Smith. Are you guys just gonna hang out?
It's okay.
we can we have other things to do too, so we'll only be here for a few
It's
minutes.
not a stressful time of the semester at all.
So there are club sports.
Which is what you're asking, but we also have Division III varsity athletics. Lee and I both have experience with that. I rode crew my first year.
I play tennis.
And then we also have intramural sports, which are March Madness basketball competitions, that kind of thing.
And soccer. But I didn't realize that intramurals only happens once a semester. So that was a little disappointing to me, actually. I wish it was more because it's really a fun way to bond with your house when the houses go against each other. But then the club sports are rugby, fencing, ultimate frisbee. Yeah, and you need no experience for any of those. They really are very inclusive.
Our synchronized swimming club/team is really cool. My friend had no experience in it or really in any sort of competitive swimming, and she really enjoyed it. She joined it her last semester right now.
exercise science classes are a really good way to get physically active.
I'm
Like
climbing now.
you can,
Sarah's
yoga.
foot is on my, I had my one test of the semester was tying knots, and that was my diagram, so that I learned to tie
yoga
knots.
test tomorrow
Ooh.
morning.
We got some questions on Tumblr we want to answer. If students are planning to take 5 college courses, is it helpful to bring a car if you already own one to Smith? So first years actually can't have cars on campus. And earlier in the chat, we talked about the PIVTA, which is the Pioneer Valley Transit Authority, which goes to all the 5 colleges. For free. And like, yeah, it takes a little bit longer than a car because it's a bus, but it's really worth it. But I don't know. I have a couple friends who had cars and they said it made it a little easier. I'm taking a Hampshire Mount Holyoke class next semester. I'm gonna ride my bike.
I'm taking a UMass class right now, and I'm taking the bus. And I actually really enjoy the bus ride. It's like some nice quiet downtime. I get a little bit of homework done. There's like a couple scenes of like really pretty, the river and the mountains. I like it.
I've also done the PIVTA commute. It's not that bad.
It's really not. You can like just have some
Also,
me time.
I had a car on campus my sophomore year because I was doing an internship in Springfield. And it was nice to have a car, but it was also like, it's not the easiest. Like,
You gotta move it around when it's
parking's
Yeah.
not fun. Like, I'm glad I don't have a car anymore.
Caitlin asks,
Lee, how awesome is Wilson House? I live in Wilson House. Caitlin's in my house, actually. I saw that commented, you're a senior in Wilson House, so thanks for logging on.
Do you have any questions?
Wilson House is awesome. 100 people on the quad clock tower.
nice. We got a question about comp sci. I want to start computer science in college. Is the Smith comp sci program designed in a way that beginners can major in with no prior experience? I think most of this, especially the science programs, all the programs are designed for not having any experience. Like some of you that I met at Open Campus, like have taken really cool classes in high school, but like I had a very basic high school curriculum. Like we didn't have any like women's studies classes or sociology classes. So, and I don't know a lot of high schools that have computer science classes. So it is geared toward like you never having any experience.
Also, we have a couple 2-credit classes. They're intro comp sci, and one's called How the Internet Works. Which
really
is not
wanna
like
take
how
it.
to use the internet, but it like explains to you like how that happens, and I don't know how that happens. But
There are
most people
literally,
do.
I learned this in collaborations that are like, there are actually tubes underground for the internet.
They're covered in like petroleum jelly, the same stuff like
Yeah.
that's in Vaseline.
Someday Google's gonna own all of them.
Nancy, is it possible to visit New York or Boston on the weekends as sort of a fun weekend visit? I just really love the museums there. It's totally possible.
I've even been on field trips with our American Studies class. We went on a field trip to New York and we went to the Lower East Side Tenement Museum. So that was really cool. So Smith paid for all of that. But it was also really easy to go on your own using the Peter Pan or like.
I took the Peter Pan last weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 questions we didn't get to answer was how helpful was the financial aid? Do you think it was helpful? And something about American Studies.
Wait, what about the food?
Food.
Oh, Nicole asked, how is the food? The food is pretty good.
If you want to see what we eat, you can download the Smith College app on your iPhone or your any type of phone, and you can also look online if you don't have a smartphone, and you can see the menus, and you can see what you'll be eating next year. There are 14 dining halls that you can look at.
And some of
Bye, friends.
Oh yeah, bye. There also is like Katie.
Yes, my underwear's pink.
Will you close the door, please? We also have like some specialty dining halls. We look so skeptical. Some specialty dining halls like vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, halal and kosher, gluten free,
Peanut free. There's
peanut free.
a nut free.
So food's good.
And someone asked about American Studies. I've never taken an American Studies class, but my friend
Kitty kind of
loves that department.
Yeah.
It's so interdisciplinary, is what she says.
Iris asked us, what was your favorite part of Open Campus Discovery Weekend?
Meeting you, Iris. I love jamming the ukulele with you, Iris.
I was so happy everybody who came up and introduced themselves.
I know,
That was really
it was
nice. Clara asks, Agnes said that Wilson House is the best, just saying.
Hi,
wow.
Agnes.
Wait, Caitlin, you said is a senior?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna skip your question, Caitlin. Are there first-year seminars required classes? So Smith actually has an open curriculum, which means that there are no general ed requirement classes. So you can take first-year seminars. That's a good way to fill your writing intensive requirement. That is the only requirement. You have to take that in your first year. And that's just really not like a class where you write like a ton. It's more like getting you transition to college writing and like helping you figure out all the resources we have at Smith. And first year seminars are a great way to accomplish that. Do you want to talk a little bit more about first year seminars?
Sure. My first year seminar was called Curry, Race, Gender, Sexuality, and Empire. There are so many awesome ones to pick from. I kind of wish I could take one now at my point where I am at Smith right now, but they're reserved for first years. But my Curry class is all about the politics and history of Indian food. We ate a lot of Indian food. We also got together at the Bollywood first year seminar because our professors were friends, and we had like Bollywood movie night / Indian food night, which was really fun. And you get really close with the people that you're in the class with. Oh yeah, but first year seminars, you already said this, but they're not required. You could also take an English 118 or any other writing intensive class. So the second semester I was here, I also took another English class because I just wanted to make sure my writing was really strong enough for college. And my English 118 class is called Writing About Home.
So we got this question a little while ago on the Tumblr. It's a question for the live chat, and this person asked, what made you choose Smith over other women's colleges if you applied to any other ones? Were there certain advantages Smith had that you liked when you were comparing schools, specifically women's colleges? Thank you. Did you apply to other women's colleges?
Yes, I applied to Scripps, Barnard, Mount Holyoke, and Smith.
And I applied to Smith, Simmons, Mount Holyoke, Bryn Mawr, and Wellesley.
And I chose Smith because of the open curriculum, because of the housing system, and I really love Northampton. It's a really cool
Northampton
town to live in.
Was really big for me.
You really utilize it too.
I do, especially because I live so close to Northampton. I mean, I go to our little town, which is a very happening place all the time, and it makes it feel like a more complete part of the world, I guess. Also, the food is good and coffee shops, and there's not really like a towny student dynamic like there are. Yeah, it's really nice. Another thing, Smith is the largest of the women's colleges. Ranking was also not a factor for me. So Katie says, sorry I flashed all your prospects.
Wait, did you want to answer this question?
No.
Okay. Someone says,
how do I find the roommate survey, housing survey? There's a link to a bunch of surveys on the information checklist, but they look like they're for current students. Thank you. So I think that'll go live a little bit later for you guys. Just because we're not.
Roommate thing?
Yeah, especially like once we have our class form, because the enrollment deadline isn't for a little while. So
I think Sadie asked a question about public health.
Oh, here, wait, I can open it here. Oh, Sadie says, I'm taking a public health class right now in high school, and I love criminology, true crime. So are those two things, so those are two things I'd love to keep studying. Okay.
Well, I'm really interested in public health too.
Yeah.
I've taken medical anthropology, which I highly recommend taking. It's so interesting. World population next semester, which focuses on all types of global health. I want to take medical sociology, and the next semester I'm taking a seminar called Women's Health in India, where we learn about women's health in India, and then over January term we'll be going to India for a month and putting what we learn into practice, which is really exciting. And then I haven't taken any criminology classes yet. Have you?
Mm-mm.
So that's interesting though. I don't know if Smith offers, but I think UMass does, possibly. I feel like UMass offers everything.
Can we take a second to acknowledge the temperature difference of me and Lee?
This is very normal.
This is where, like, we'll be sitting in our office, which I think is the hottest building I've ever been in. I'll be like in as little as possible, and she's like,
Check it out.
Take it. All right. Somebody asked, what's the party scene like at Smith? That's a good question. There we do have parties.
Some are campus sponsored, so the different houses will have parties, and
or we'll have like campus-wide parties in like campus center. But then also like people have parties like in their rooms. And sometimes I had a lot of people over before and after spring weekend to hang out. And people do that. We threw my friends like birthday parties are a thing. We threw my friend Susan a space-themed birthday party because she is out of this world. It was fun.
We talked about this in my sociology class a little bit, but if you're looking for the party scene where there are keg stands and whatever
Whatever
happens.
those are.
I don't even know. But yeah, you don't find that at Smith, really. Would you say?
Not as often. Like, they do happen, probably. You look on Yik Yak. But parties, like, I think there's a little, like, one big distinction is that there's a lot less pressure to drink. Like, nobody's going to judge you one way or another, whatever you choose to do, but they're going to make sure you're safe. They also, I think the culture about it is really, it's just, like, it's a safe place to be yourself and kick back. Karen asks, is it easy to transfer credits from community college to Smith? I want to double major, but I don't want to overload myself with classes, so I'm thinking about taking some community college classes during summer. It really depends on what you want to double major in, because like Katie is a Gov and Swag double major, and those things go pretty well together because there's some overlap in cross-listed classes. But if you want to major in like economics and like neuroscience, that might be a little trickier. So it really depends. How do you? I have
some advice about double major because I was thinking about it, but I was given really good advice, which is when you get a degree from Smith College, it's not really gonna give you an extra boost if you have a double major necessarily. If it's like sociology and anthropology or like sociology and swag, they're very similar. And the reason I chose not to double major is because it would really tie up my courses. I've talked to a lot of first years who are so excited about the class, which is great, but double majoring isn't really necessary. And if you choose a double major, your whole schedule will basically be laid out because you have so many class requirements that you need to get done to fulfill those majors. And I like to explore other classes because we have an open curriculum, so I like to take whatever I want, sometimes a biology class, a music class, a language class in my semesters here. So I prefer to not double major because I want to have that flexibility.
Yeah, and look, I only have one. I feel like kind of like are you getting a faculty certificate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm kind of rare in that I only have one major and not a minor certificate, but also I work 2 jobs and I'm writing a thesis and I have friends and I feel really comfortable just like taking the classes I want to take. I'm like a secret sociology major. I think my actual major advisor at one point thought I was a sociology major. I just really like that department, but it's not something I wanted to major in. It's a great department. So I think I liked the flexibility like this because I really like taking each semester 4 classes in 4 different departments because that's like liberal arts.
I don't know how to answer is it easy to transfer credits from community college? Because I
think it really depends.
Yeah, I think you need to talk to your advisor and perhaps your class dean about that. And if you want to email them in advance, that might be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't heard of people trying to get ahead before they even got to Smith. Have you?
No. I mean, AP credits even usually are just used to help you like test into a higher class. So if you took AP French, that can help you go into like you don't have to start in like French 1.
Mm-hmm. Or if you take AP Psychology, you don't have to take intro psych.
Yeah, exactly. Kiara asks, how are the athletic facilities at Smith, like open gyms, pools, etc.? I really like the athletic facilities here. I use them regularly. It's nice because our gym is actually our fitness center is a really wide open space, so it never feels like hot and sweaty and gross. It doesn't smell bad. And
are there any images on Google that you can look up?
Probably.
You should look them up on Google. It's a nice facility.
And also all the cardio machines have their own TVs, which is nice. And there's weighting equipment, and it's a really nice environment. And there's 2 like basketball court type gyms. And there's weightlifting equipment,
a pool, a rock wall.
Oh, I love the rock wall.
Beautiful indoor tennis courts.
Yeah.
Beautiful outdoor tennis courts. 2 tracks, 1 inside, 1 outside.
I don't know how we got such nice athletic facilities, but I really value them. Nancy asks, is it possible to major in econ and gov while minoring in public policy, or would that be too much?
I don't think you can double major in minor, can you?
I think I hear mixed things. Sometimes you can have like 2. Sometimes I hear you can have 2 things on your diploma. Sometimes I hear you can have 3. It really depends. Like econ, gov, public policy, those kind of go together. Do you need to sneeze? But if you were like econ, bio, minor in swag, I would be like, maybe not. But
it's really just a label. That's what I think.
It's really a label.
Just take the classes and you'll get the same information. You don't need the label.
Well, and what I think, because I talked to my advisor about this, I was like, should I minor in sociology? Like, I'm really close to completing it. And she's like, I don't think it will add that much to your credentials. Like, on your resume, I don't think it will add that much. But if you think that it will add something, and that's something you could talk to your advisor, because it also really depends what you want to do. So for a while, I was thinking about minoring in education. because at that point in my life, I was really interested in going into that field in some way or another. So that would have added to my credentials. Whereas like sociology and swag are like fairly similar disciplines. I didn't feel like it would diversify me enough to warrant taking 2 classes that I didn't really want to take. Elena says my outfit is on point, and she's right. Claire asks, what are the deal with concentrations? That's a great question. We love concentrations, and I think that people don't know about them enough. They're really cool. So we have 13 of them. It ranges from women's education, archives, museums, sustainable food, Buddhism, some other ones. But can you explain? Wait, I'm looking at
museums.
I said that. So we have archives, biomathematical sciences, book studies, Buddhist studies, climate change, community engagement and social change, global financial institutions, museums concentration, poetry, South Asia concentration, sustainable food, translation studies, and women's education. So how those are different from a minor is that they about the same course load as a minor in my experience, but they require 2 practicums. So either internships or like that kind of thing, and it's an hour requirement. You could do research, and you can also get 2 praxis fundings if you're doing. That's a new thing. So praxis is like an internship fund of $2,400 that you can get for an unpaid internship. So if you concentrate, you can get that twice because you're required to do 2 internships. But also, when I was considering the women's education concentration, I was like, I worked at a Girl Scout camp for a summer. Does that count? And they're like, sure. So that was a job, and they counted. And concentrations are really cool. They have like 1 credit intro classes a lot, either during J term or during the semester. So those are usually like half the semester and like a lecture series. So I took a lot of those without any intent of taking concentrating. Like I took the global financial institutions thing because I thought it would make me feel more like an adult.
What was the intro for that?
Intro to global financial institutions.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing sustainable foods concentration. I think the intro to that was called landscape studies or something.
Yeah, and then my friend Quincy is a book studies concentrator, so there's lots of different things you can do. And it's what we kind of consider like more practical than typical, because we don't have like business and journalism and communications, those kind of majors that kind of funnel into more direct career fields. So this is kind of, it gives you a little bit of an edge because those aren't super common at other schools. Bye, Elena. Emily asked, is it possible for an engineering major to study abroad? Yes. My friend Cassie, who's an engineering major, is abroad right now in South Korea. So yes, the answer is yes.
It requires a little bit more planning though, and they will definitely support you in that with your advisor.
Yeah. But Smith is opening, like they're very aware because we're so concentrated on STEM and so supportive that they're working on opening new programs and making it more possible to study abroad. So I met some people in the JYA Paris program who are engineering majors. So it's really like, I think Lee's right. It does require a little more planning because the engineering major has a little more complex requirements, but it is totally possible. And
same with computer science.
Yes. Lily asked, I have the same question just for studying abroad computer science. You're majoring in will not limit you if you want to study abroad. We have among the highest participation for study abroad programs for a liberal arts school or anything like it. So we want you to go abroad. Smith makes it very clear that they'd love for you to go abroad. They'd love for you to go abroad for a year. I don't know why they want to get rid of us. You're welcome, Emily. What can you tell? Iris asked, what can you tell me about the Poetry Center? Is slam poetry a thing at Smith? Yes. I love open mics. There's lots of open mics at Smith for like spoken word poetry especially. The Poetry Center will host cool poets. Like we said, we have a poetry concentration. So I don't have a lot of experience. I went to like a poetry reading there. So it's pretty cool.
One cool place that I've seen slam poetry happen is at something called Weaving Voices, which is a space for students of color to share any artistic form, or really they can share anything. I've seen people sing, I've seen people share stories, a lot of poetry, and it's really just a space dedicated for students of color to have a place to voice whatever they want to.
Simona asks, for study abroad as an engineering major, are there language requirements? So the language requirements are not based on your major; they're based on what program you want to go to. So if you're yes, so if you're an engineering major and you want to go to Paris, like you're gonna need to you need to know French. Rebecca asks, What has been your favorite class at Smith? / what would you suggest an incoming, you should freshman, but we're going to call first year, incoming first year take if they just want to explore all the different courses the college has to offer? It's a great question. Not complicated at all.
We'll start with favorite class.
Yes. My favorite class that I've taken at Smith. I really like the classes I'm taking this semester.
Me too.
I like our social. We're taking a social qualitative
We're taking
research.
2 classes together.
Not on purpose.
Totally by accident.
We didn't
We
meet
spent a
until
lot
the
of time
semester.
together.
Our boss is like, I'm really glad you guys like each other. Oh, Katie is watching and she says gender law and policy, and I'd have to agree. That's a swag class. I really like that class as well. I just felt like I got a really good grasp on history and the law through that class. I like my swag classes. I really like my swag seminar. It's actually a Gov swag seminar that I'm taking right now. It's called The Politics of Heterosexuality. There's 8 of us, and we're just really close, and we had half our presentations today and half next Thursday, and then on Friday we're going to dinner at my professor's house. So that's been a really nice community to come back to from studying abroad as well.
My favorite class was medical anthropology last semester. That was one of them with Donald Gerolum, and he's been teaching it for 33 years, so he's such an expert, and I loved all the books we read. But my first year, I explored all over the place. I took a geology class, an environmental science class, a French class, a sociology class, an anthropology class. Yeah, I went all over the place, and I really suggest that you do the same. But when I took my first sociology class, my intro to social class, that's when I realized that I'm so destined to be a sociology major. I love it.
That's how I was too. Like, I just really looked at all the course catalog, didn't really limit myself to what I thought I might or might not be interested in. So I took art history, sociology, psychology, American studies, and I just really tried out a lot of things. But then I kept finding myself taking sociology classes.
The way that I figured out that I want to be a social major is when I look through the catalog and I look at the sociology classes, I get so excited with every single one. And I want to take every single one, so that's how I know. You can do the same thing. The fall 2016 course catalog is out, and you can look at it online.
Rachel asks, what house do you live in / do you like the house community? Right here, right now, we are in Baldwin House. This is where I live. This is my room. I have lived here all my semesters at Smith, and I definitely really like it. The community, of course, I like the building and the environment and the location, but also the community is really what makes it great for me.
Link?
Sure.
I live in Wilson House, and there was just a video posted that I helped to make about Wilson House and why I love living there, so I will link you guys to the video. Here it is. It's on the quad. It's 100 people. Where do you go back to?
I don't know.
But watch this video. It's only a minute long when you have a chance, and you can see why I love Wilson House. We just put it in the comments bar.
So that's about our house community. And we're both pretty involved. Like, Leah's going to be a VP of her house next year. I've been a class rep every semester. I've been at Smith. So I started first year, and then as a sophomore rep, and then as junior rep. Junior rep, I don't really do anything because there's no juniors in the house. And then next year, I'm planning on being senior rep. I will probably run without a post.
But you can also look on Smith by Smithies, because Vanessa and I have taken great care in profiling all of the houses, so you get a taste of which one you might want to put down for where you want to live next year.
But it's really also not a big deal if you don't know where you want to live. It's just not I had no idea. I visited campus once and I was like, this is nice. I'll live anywhere. And they put me in Baldwin, and it worked out really well.
I said I wanted to live on Green Street just because I looked through the pictures online, and I was like, oh, that one looks pretty, so I put Green Street. And I ended up on the quad, but I made the best of it. I love it. I don't know. I think I would have liked Green Street too. Wherever I would be, I would be happy.
Lily asks, what languages have you guys taken at Smith?
I took French for 1 semester.
I tried to take some English class. I took Danish while I was abroad. We're not very languagey people.
But a lot of my friends, this is so random, have taken Old Norse.
It's a requirement for the medieval studies major, I believe.
It's also a 1 semester language class that counts for Latin honors, so that's why I wanted to take it.
Yeah, I have no idea if my abroad class counts for Latin honors. Latin honors is, so like we said, there's no general ed requirements, but if you want to fulfill the Latin honors distribution, so that's 7 just for different disciplines. It's like math, social science, language, like what you kind of think. And then you also have to get to graduate with Latin honors. You have to be in a certain percentile GPA when you graduate. But we've had friends, Sarah took Chinese, Katie took Arabic, and then like we have 5 college languages programs. Sign language at Hampshire, so there's lots. You could take 2 languages at the same time, Kiara.
I know someone who's taking Korean and Chinese right now. She really has a knack for languages.
I think one of my friends might be taking Spanish and something else right now. Let's see if we have any questions from Tom. How intensely do Smithies focus on academics? Is it like study here, study there, or more studying is important, but so is having a life and not dying? And an ironic question to ask after that, how hard is it to get into Smith without an amazing GPA and scores and stuff?
This person must not be a senior.
Yeah, you're probably not in mid-student, but we'll answer your question anyway. I think a lot of people have a lot of different approaches to studying. It really depends on the time of semester. Like some weeks I have nothing to do and I like to take advantage of that and go outside and pester my friends who do have work. But I think people at Smithies lead generally like a pretty balanced life, like with their academics and social life and work life.
And if any juniors are watching and wondering about if your GPA isn't amazing and your scores aren't amazing, by the way, test optional, you don't have to submit your scores. Don't do it unless it will help you, because some people submit because they don't believe that it's test optional, but really don't submit unless it will help you. Is that they totally just look at it holistically. They'll have a profile in your school. If they know that the classes are hard at your school, they'll take that into consideration if your GPA is lower and such.
It's also super holistic. So like I was not like a bright and shining star numerically in high school, but I was long-term involved with a lot of projects, and I think they could see that I was like had passion and dedication and skill that would transfer and make me successful at Smith and afterward. Yeah. So I think that's also something I really valued in the decision-making process was like, I was like, Smith values this about me. I value this about me. I want to go to Smith, where this will continue to be valued. People keep warning me that Smith is too liberal when I tell them it's my first choice. Do you ever feel the same? There are lots of ways to share what you're passionate about at Smith. I think you answered your own question. I don't really have a lot of pushback about it. Sometimes my parents will be like, you need to have like a well-rounded view of the world, and like sometimes in the beginning they would worry I wasn't getting that at Smith, but I think it's all about balance. I'm going to Washington this summer, where it's like obviously not all liberal. I'm going to probably work for a very liberal organization, but I think you have to make the effort to not only reiterate your own viewpoint, because also you don't want to lose the ability to defend your views.
I know, and it's like 4 years of your life, and when you leave Smith, you're going to be back in the rest of the world, where everyone has some problematic opinions, and you'll be able to defend your points really well.
Yeah, and I think also that we talked about this earlier, but not everybody, just because they're liberal at Smith, has the same viewpoints. There's like a gradient, a spectrum of ways to be liberal and think about different issues, because you come in with a different background, and some issues are more important to you than others. This is very salient to me in my seminar, where some people, bye. Sorry. So I think that it will be hard to defend your decision to people before you actually go to Smith. But once you get here, you'll have the vocabulary to talk about your decision a lot more easily. Emily asks, is the House Council the Smith way of being an RA? If not, what is?
Good question. So the RA position here at Smith is called Residence Life, and in all of the houses there are 2 or 3 Smith students who are paid by the college to do what an RA does, kind of make sure that everyone is safe, enforce policies if necessary. And the 2 positions for RA is House Community Advisor, HCA, or Head Resident. We call them HRs as well. And they are on House Council, so they're one of the positions on House Council. House Council is totally student-run. I'll name some positions. There's a House President, a Vice President, HSECs, which are Student Event Committee planners. They plan the part. Is that right?
Yeah. And then we have like social justice and equity reps, heads of new students, student academic advisors,
class reps for every year.
Yeah.
Sustainability reps, if you're interested.
Birthday fairies. So big range of responsibilities.
And Res Life / RA is just one of the roles on House Council.
All right, we're gonna take questions for 5 more minutes. Somebody asked, often when I tell people I got into Smith, they say that that's the school for militant feminists. What do you people mean by this? And is this accurate? I self-identify as a feminist. by the way. I think that question, the question you're being asked by people, is a question produced by a lot of internalized sexism and misogyny that has wants to target women for believing in themselves and wanting to empower themselves. It's a really misogynistic question that you're getting asked, and you should not. Militant feminism is a way of trying to like put down feminism and trying to put down like stop women from being empowered.
That's why you should come to Smith.
Yeah, and stop women from like finding community, because in communities we can be stronger. So you're getting asked a misogynist question, and then you can tell people that if you're not intimidated to. And it is, I think we would strongly identify as a feminist community, and I think that's a good thing, because you should be a feminist, because women are people. So good job self-identifying.
Good job, SWAG major.
See, I have the vocabulary to explain that.
I should take some SWAG classes.
You should. Nancy asks, is novice crew a huge time commitment? I'm really interested, but I also want to have time to study, etc., because I want to go to law school. Thanks. So I was on novice crew for a year. It was a great year. It was a hard year. I was very tired for a year. It was the good things was I had a huge community of people, really close, and some of my really good friends I met through crew, even though we're not on crew anymore. They're still on crew and I'm not. You're only a novice for a year, and then you'll be on varsity if you choose to continue, which is more of a time commitment, but they train you for that and get you ready for that.
For example, like practice times change, right?
Practice times change. Practices get more intense. Like for an example, during the season, you'll probably be in the boat every morning. You'll be down at the boathouse by 5:30. We drive vans. It's just 2 miles away to the Connecticut River. Practice, like do pieces, practice technique and stuff, and then also you need to do cardio every day, and like 2 or 3 times a week you need to lift. So you're gonna be in the best shape of your life, but also you're gonna be tired.
Do your hands bleed?
No, my hands didn't bleed. I had some nice calluses for like a year after I quit. I didn't quit. But also like some of the most academically driven people I met were on crew. Like they're
helps
amazing.
some people to do athletics.
It helped me a lot. Because it was really focused and like compartmentalized. I like to be super busy because it helps me figure out like if you have like a whole afternoon free, you're like, I will definitely study. I'm only gonna watch 1 episode of Netflix, and then you watch 8. So it helps to be busy. Also, so this is the same person who asked the militant feminist question. Also, some people say that Smith is overly PC, politically correct, to the point that some are terrified they'll say something wrong. I think I'm pretty politically correct, but also want others to feel safe and have a good discussion. Thoughts, is Smith overly politically correct? This is a complex question, and something I've thought about every year I've been at Smith, and my opinion has changed on it every year. But also that's partly a product of the Smith community changing for a while.
Well, one thing I know for sure is that so everybody is more familiar with how different dialogues regarding political correctness, like social justice, that kind of thing, is when you come to Smith, your first year and during orientation, they have a pretty intensive social justice orientation for you, so that helps so you know how to talk about things and so people won't get upset. What was the other part of the question?
Is Smith overly politically correct?
What do you think?
I think we're pretty much on par with a lot of liberal arts institutions.
Yeah. I think that if you look at other small liberal arts colleges similar to us, we introduce ourselves with pronouns.
We just care so much and like want everybody to care about the things we care about just as much. And sometimes it's hard to have that conversation, because also like if you're not comfortable talking about something, or you're scared to talk about something because you're scared of being wrong, you're not going to learn about it, and you're not going to engage in that discussion. And that's something I think we've been really trying to change and like make room for a dialogue where you can be wrong and like experiment and like think things out and learn. Because I came to college with very little social justice knowledge. I was like, yes, I'm a feminist, like I watched some documentaries, but I was lacking a big part of the vocabulary. But partly through being a SWAG major, partly through engaging in campus dialogue and house community dialogue, I think I gained the vocabulary very fast. Simone asked, there are so many clubs I want to join as Smith. How many is too many? How much dedication is expected upon joining clubs? It really depends on the club. some clubs you just like show up when you want to show up and like do the things. My friends who are in circus club, like they sometimes will work on routines and stuff, but really it's just like a fun thing. But then if you're in Divest Smith College, which is a program like a club, they like oriented at divesting our endowment from fossil fuels. They have working groups, they have assignments every week, like that's intense. But they're also trying to make like a huge change. Like it's not like a recreational club. Like they're very like service-oriented club. So I think that makes a difference.
My first year, in the first month, they have a club fair where all the clubs represent themselves, and they have sheets out where you can sign up if you want to learn more about their org and get emails from them. And I signed up for 20 orgs, and I still get emails from those orgs. They kept me on their email list. I only chose 2 clubs to stay really involved with. Actually, maybe more than 2. Let me think. Ukulele club, of course. Orchestra. And Gold Key, so being a tour guide. And so I was able to narrow it down. I still like getting emails just so I know what's going on around campus, but I was also really excited, and I figured out after signing up and getting emails which path I wanted to take.
And it really depends because you can like take on leadership roles in an
Right.
org. Like I'm in Hillel, but I'm not.
Bless you.
Thank you. I'm in Hillel, but don't have like an active leadership role, but like I really enjoy the community. Whereas like Gold Key, I am on central board, which is like intense leadership. Like a lot is expected of me, but it's also a paid position, which is kind of unusual.
It's a job.
It's a job. All right, we can take one more question, and then we're gonna peace out. Anyone? It was nice to see y'all again. It's so cool that we met at Open Campus and we met on the internet, and then we get to go to school together. How cool is that? I think it's cool.
I think it's cool too. I loved when people came up to me and said, "I know you."
I know. I mean, some people were slightly weird about it, but most people weren't. We were very friendly.
Oh, someone said something.
It's Katie. Katie, my friend, asked, "Tell me about your favorite memory, like of Smith." Simona says, "Squad goals." My favorite memory is meeting Lee.
How did we meet?
I remember it like it was yesterday. We were going around in our sociology methods class, introducing ourselves and being like, "Oh, this is like what sociology, like methods research I remember." And I can see Lee is just like this excited ball of energy, and then it gets to Lee and just, "Hi, I'm Lee. I read all these ethnographies. I love ethnographies." And she just talked about how much she loved ethnographies. And I was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna be friends." And that was I mean, I don't know if that's my favorite Smith memory, but it's a good one.
That's the first memory of me.
That's my first memory of Lee. I mean, obviously we had like internet connect, like friendship.
I remember you from way back, actually.
Which is creepy.
Yeah, we were at this ukulele jam game night at our friend Becca's room, and you were there and Quincy was there. But I don't think we really talked, but I remember you. And then
I was going through a phase where I thought I was really cool.
Well, and then you guys were all talking about going to the Pride Parade the next day, and I really wanted to go, but I didn't know you very well, so I didn't know if I should ask.
That would have been so fun!
I just went by myself.
Are we gonna go together this year?
Yes, we should.
Is it on May 7th?
I don't know, but I'll be here.
Okay, let's go. All right, we're gonna go. Ultimate Frisbee's a thing.
Last question from Rachel. Ultimate Frisbee question mark?
Yes.
And they
Lunadisc.
are a great community.
Yes.
I'm jealous
They go on
of how
tournaments
cool
and
they are.
training trips. They're cool.
Okay, guys, so let's see.
You're welcome for doing this live
30
stream.
days of September. You have 9 more days until you gotta choose if you want to come to Smith. And I would really suggest you come to Smith. It's awesome here.
It's great, and you can hang out with us. But if you have, sorry, my voice is like weird. I'm sick. I made it until this far in the semester without getting sick. But ask us questions if you have questions. That's what we're here for. Ask us on Smith by Smithies. That's what we run. That's our job. That's where you can find us.
I live in Wilson House, West Quad. If you want to put that down, we can hang out. I'll be on the 3rd floor next year. Where will you be?
Right here. 2 doors down. In
4th
Baldwin.
floor, Baldwin. Come knock next year.
Oh, don't.
We'll see you.
Bye. Bye.